screen shortly, folks. So, hi again, everybody. Philip Wade here again from the Universal Studio in North Yorkshire, England. And I'm talking on this particular live, as you can see there, about something I'm calling light, shadows, and self-realization. It's something that Jolene suggested I speak about, and actually these terms do crop up quite a lot and create quite a bit of confusion, so it's well worth offering some insight to them and the confusion that can arise around them. And so these terms include things like light work, light worker, shadow, shadow work, and so forth. And to be honest with you, the terms I'm not very keen on. And the reason for that, I mean, they are ultimately what they are, and there's nothing wrong or right about them, like with everything in life. However, from a perspective of spiritual self-realization, they can lead to quite a lot of confusion and unnecessary suffering. And I remember many years ago when somebody turned to me and said, "Oh, you're a light worker," and I thought, what does that mean? Now, here's the thing. Let's get straight to the crux of it. As the self is realized, the true essence of that which you truly are, the infinite silence, the infinite consciousness, the infinite awareness, and that realization flowers. What is seen is that there has never been a time, and there never will be a time, when one was not that. It had simply been forgotten, and it's now been realized. Now, this self, infinite consciousness, infinite silence, infinite awareness, has no concepts, no beliefs whatsoever. There's also no contrast, no space, no time there. So terms such as shadow, light, dark, and whatever are absolutely and utterly meaningless. Absolutely and utterly meaningless. These terms only emerge with the appearance of a duality experience, and duality is an experience of opposites. And in this context, we might say light and dark, for instance. Now, that's only an appearance on what I call the green screen of consciousness. And by green screen, I mean just like the green screen in the movies, where anything can be projected onto it. Now, to have experience at all, there has to be several things in place from this infinite consciousness, this infinite awareness. And that's the appearance of beingness, which I call spheres of light also. It's the appearance of time, space, and form, our physical bodies, the physical universe. And importantly, contrast, hot, cold, tall, small. To have all of these in place creates experience. And indeed, that is how the universe comes to know itself in its own experience. It projects into and onto the green screen this experience. And the trouble is, in life, we become identified with the experience and the experiencer, the belief that I am the body-mind. And that's the fundamental block to self-realization. That single belief is the only block. Every other belief is simply a subset to that. Now, getting to the terms light worker, shadow work, and so forth, this can create confusion because people can become identified with these ideas. these beliefs. I am a light worker, or I am doing shadow work. Now, the instant you create an identification of any kind, you're instantly into suffering, because that which you truly are, infinite consciousness, infinite silence, infinite awareness, is completely and utterly devoid of identification, attachment, and belief. It is simply no thing. Yeah, it is infinite. And the terms such as light and dark are absolutely meaningless to it. So if you identify yourself as a light worker, the opposite of that also in a dual experience has to be there. And so instantly you're into suffering. The same goes with when people talk about doing shadow work, and it's not a term I like. I understand what people are pointing at, and it's about ultimately not that which we call the shadow. It's about dissolving the belief in the case of mistaken identity, that all I am is this body-mind. And with that, the ego and the emotional body that comes with it. It's much more effective to think in terms of dissolving the beliefs, and with that, the emotional body will also dissolve. If you think of yourself and believe in yourself as having some shadow, then you're creating another layer of separation between that which you truly are and that which is actually physically present here in you as you. So I don't like the term shadow work, even though I know what people are pointing at, because of that, because you're then saying that there's me, and you think of yourself as a person until the self is realized, and then there's my shadow as well. So you've now got two things to dissolve: the identity as the person and the shadow of the person. It's the direct pointing. The direct pointing is to dissolve the case of mistaken identity, the belief in that, the attachment to it, and the identification with it. All of those are in one package. You see, that which you truly are, and you have never not been, is the infinite consciousness, the infinite silence. And this form that you have is simply an expression of that universal consciousness, so that it gets to experience itself and ultimately come to know itself in its own experience. That's the purpose of its expression. And it gets to realize that essence of itself whilst in the form, and the beauty of that is unimaginably beyond words. So to create this idea that you've got a shadow as well, on top of the idea of you already being a person, is just going to create another barrier, another belief between you and that. And it's not an effective way forward. Go with this. That which you are seeking is that which you already are, and it's nothing to do with personhood. Nothing at all. This body is something that you have, but it is not that which you are. And it's a beautiful expression of the universe. So to identify with light work, shadow work, and so forth is just creating another block to that realization, another step to go through. And it's not a necessary step. And that's why I focus it on the way that I'm describing. Being open to that which you are is actually already here. You are already it, and it's not personal. For sure, the emotional body and all of the trauma carried in that does need to be dissolved. But don't make it more difficult than it has to be. The awareness itself, as you open to that, will automatically cast the power of awareness upon all of that noise, all of the beliefs that are behind that, and it will ultimately effortlessly dissolve it. And you just simply have to witness. That's all. My great offering there, so to speak, is not personal. All realized beings come to see this, that the power of awareness is ultimately effortless. And the process, and it appears as a process, even though it isn't really, that I refer to it as, is transmuting fear into love. And my live stream 11 on my YouTube channel explains that process in full. And you can also see a summarized version of it on my meditations only site, which is called staroflight.org. And I also refer to it as alchemy of the spirit, or transmuting fear into love. The power of the awareness is enough. Don't introduce terms such as light, shadow, darkness, and whatever to complicate the matter. We're talking about an infinite consciousness, infinite awareness. And simply trust in that, go with that, dive deep into that. And as you do that, then all of the stuff, all of the noise, all of the beliefs, all of the emotional trauma will come up to be seen. And the awareness is more than enough to dissolve it effortlessly in its own right. So avoid these terms. They're not necessary and they just create confusion. Now, I just want to look at some of the comments here to see if to make sure I've picked up on them. I think I have, but I'm just going to pop them on the... Right, okay, so Sandy says, source has no shadow, question mark. Correct. Infinite silence, infinite consciousness, infinite awareness has no such phenomena, no such concepts, no such belief about itself. It is just infinite field of self-aware energy that's aware of itself as that, and that is that which you truly already are. All phenomena are expressions of that, and ultimately from that ultimate perspective are neither right nor wrong. Right and wrong are meaningless to source, infinite silence, infinite consciousness. And the phenomena are appearances. So that covers that one. Not sure I follow the question. This is how is unable to manifest the third, and yes, love is me, we are love, I am you. I think you're pointing at what I'm saying there, Selena. Basically, that which you are seeking is that which we all truly already are. Even the dictator is this. They may just be so lost that they act in that role, but it's just an extreme version of misidentification. And Celine is then adding, yes, we are the Trinity. Good. That's a deep seeing, the Trinity or the triality of consciousness, the infinite silence, source, infinite consciousness, whatever you want to call it, beingness, or spheres of light as I call it, and form. That's the triality, and it's all one. Never not that. You might just forget, but it's that. So those are the comments, and if you want to explore any of this further, from this Friday on my website, you can register for an online Zoom sessions which will be Spiritually Inquiry, and the link is there, and I'm just going to get it from the website itself now and put it in the comments if you just bear with me a moment whilst I get that. I thought I had it, but I just realized that was for the previous live. So I'm going to get that now. Bear with me a moment. Yeah, so if you're interested in exploring any of this further, then the link to that, starting this Friday for 3 weeks, is a spiritual inquiry via Zoom sessions, an hour each week for the next 3 weeks, as an opportunity to explore the most profound spiritual questions that you have. Ultimately, it is profoundly simple. So as part of the process, I'll be explaining how that unfolds. And in fact, there's already a live video that you can see, which is called The Essence of Spiritual Inquiry, both on my Facebook page and on my YouTube channel. So do have a look at that. And if you feel called, they're starting at 8 p.m. UK time this Friday for the next 3 weeks as a trial, as kind of mini laser focused retreats. So I've just popped that on there. You can see it in the comments. And if you're watching on the Endless Peace and Love group, I'll pop that in afterwards, because for some reason StreamYard doesn't pop the comments in direct, whereas it does on my page and it does on my YouTube channel. So that's it. Going back to our title, avoid these confusing terms. Just be open to that which you are seeking is that which you truly are: infinite silence, infinite consciousness, infinite awareness. All the rest is an appearance, and all that you are not will dissolve in the light or power of that, more accurately, the power of that awareness. Just be open to that. Keep it simple. And I'll finish now with some heart music. Many blessings. So just one more reminder, if you feel called, the link is there in the comments if you want to explore any aspect of spiritual self-realization further. This Friday, 8 p.m. UK time, you can register on my website on the link provided. Namaste and many blessings.